we chazered. Oh, there we
now
go.
Now it is.
Yesterday we chazered up. We did emergency workers, essential workers, as they call them. Right? Can they come back? Can they come back or not? Right? And then, and what was the rest of the Amud? The rest of the Amud was basically if the person, then they had two more mishnayos about somebody falling asleep by his tchum. Does he still get an Eruv tchum like that? And if somebody just doesn't sleep, but he doesn't know that the Eruv is there, so does he get to make the tchum? Meaning, do you need das for the tchum or not? Okay, then we discussed it raining. Right? And what's the story with the rain? Does the rain get an Eruv tchum or not? If you want to use the water from rain, does it get the Eruv tchum or not? Okay, so we're in the middle of the rain. So Amar Mar, yeah, we're on Mem Hey Amud Beis, about 7 lines up from the bottom on the 2 dots. So Amar Mar, B'Yom Tov Harein Keragle Kol Adam. On Yom Tov, Harein Keragle Kol Adam, right? So we said that the rainwater goes like the feet of every person. Meaning, whichever person decides to take the rain, he's the one that gets the rainwater, and it goes whatever excuse me, whatever his tchum goes. So thank you. Samara says, "V'amai," and why? Likni shvisa b'ukainas. Why don't you? Now this. I mean, the Gemara is asking, why isn't it kaina? It's makom in the Atlantic Ocean, right? Which I don't know. It means I mean, that's what they call the Atlantic Ocean, but it means the ocean. Meaning, because where does all rain come from? From evaporation from the ocean, right? I don't know why they don't bring this raya from a Gemara from this Gemara that they knew science and all that, right? I'm saying, how did they know that it evaporates from the ocean? But that's what the Gemara is saying. So maybe the tchum should start from the ocean, which means that you can't take the water anywhere. Let's say it's not like Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer, because Rebbe Eliezer holds that the whole world gets its water from the oceans. Yeah, and Memela, according to him, all rain is coming from outside the tchum. So therefore, you would not be able to use any sort of rainwater. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, and the Gemara is not saying that, so it must be not like Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Yitzchak, no, we're talking about rain that came from clouds that formed on Erev Yom Tov. I don't get this teretz, but that's what it's saying. Again, he's saying that the rain that we're referring to here is from clouds that came from Erev Yom Tov. I mean, don't clouds move? Meaning it rained on Yom Tov, but the clouds formed on Erev Yom Tov. I mean, clouds don't sit over your head for that long. Am I incorrect with that?
If it's a cloudy day.
Unless it was right before Shkia and right after Shkia.
Isn't that the Gemara's next question?
No, because the Gemara says maybe it's different clouds. It's just saying, how do you know? But I don't think that's what the Gemara's next question is. The Gemara is just saying, how do you know? Maybe it's different ones. But the Gemara is entertaining the thought that the clouds sit there for that long. Right? Right? Maybe these went away and these are others. Right? So Gemara says, no, you have a siman. You can tell in the cloud that this is the same cloud that hasn't left. I don't know. I don't understand the mitzias of this, but that's okay. It's the same. We're talking about a very specific case. Same cloud. You recognize the cloud, and that cloud was sitting there the whole time. Or you can say a different teretz. The bottom line is techumin is derabanans, right? Suffik the devreim lahakol. Suffik derabanan is a kula. Yeah. So Gemara says v'likni shvisas ba'avim. Why don't we say that it's shvisa, meaning the rain? Where is the rain staying? In the clouds. And when it leaves the clouds, it's out of its tchum. Let's say pshat that there's no tchum l'malam yud. Yesh tchumin likni shvisa ba'avim. Because if there is, there like we had the machlokes 2 days ago, right? Is there techumin l'mala miyud or not? So if there is l'mala miyud, then like be kind of shvisa ba'avim. So it must be that there is no tchum above 10. So Gemara says la lo'ay yesh techumin. Really, we say there is techumin above 10, right? In which case Eliyahu Hanavi can't come. The water is absorbed in the clouds, meaning it doesn't even exist. The water it's not like there's rainwater inside the cloud that just has to fall out. The rain doesn't exist. It has to be created on Yom Tov, right? That's what the Gemara says.
What about when it falls? What about when it falls? It's still above 10 tvachim when it falls. It's out of the clouds by then.
No, but meaning it wasn't in existence to be kind of the tchum.
Yeah, but when it comes out of the clouds before it lands, it's still above.
No, but it comes out of the cloud only on Yom Tov already. So how could it be kind of tchum? Well, it's too late. So it has no tchum. But that's
why is it kind of tchum more in on the ground than up in the air?
No, meaning if it doesn't exist by tseis of Yom Tov or shkia by Yom Tov, that's a machlokes itself, shkia or tseis. But if it doesn't exist, then it's not. You can't say it has a tchum.
So it's kind of the tchum when it lands?
It's not. No, it's not going to have a tchum.
But don't we say it has the tchum of whoever is kind of?
We're saying it gets right now. The Gemara is saying it gets the tchum of the person.
Right, but that
so
wherever it lands.
The reason why it gets the tchum of the person is because the person adopts it. Once the person adopts it, then it goes with the person's feet or whatever, wherever the person can go to.
So, but if it's in the air, the person's not going to be able to adopt it. Is that correct? It's not
no, but he can only get it. No, well, only once the person picks it up, then it gets the tchum of the person.
Can I butt in?
Sure.
I think I'm confused by the same thing. In other words, when the Gemara says that Meg Geshamim are kind of the tchum at all, that means that it rained Friday afternoon.
Well, that's what the Gemara is trying to figure out. When did this rain develop?
It has to be that the rain was on the ground through Shkia. Now, all these Gemara's kashas are
why?
on Shabbos.
Well, the Gemara is trying to figure out if that's the case.
How can it not be the case? It can't be
because it's not. Right now, when it rains
it's not.
Morning, what do you want to say, Rabban?
I'm just saying it's not. What he's saying is it's not rainwater. It's not rain anymore. It's water on the ground. Then you have to find out what's the din of water on the ground. It's not rainwater. It's not rain. If it fell Friday afternoon, it's water, and you walk out of your house, there's water on the ground. It's not rain.
But in our terms, that's called Meg Sham.
But
we started today, Amar Mar B'Yom Tov, if the rain fell on Yom Tov. So we're not talking about before Yom Tov, we're talking about on Yom Tov.
Right, but Enochanami, I think it's Hefker. It's Hefker, so it has no tchum. That's what the Gemara is thinking.
Right, I'm asking why, once it falls from the sky, before it gets to 10 tvachim above the ground, why is it not kind of wherever it is? It's always Hefker. It was Hefker before also, if it was before Shabbos.
Well, Mamanav Shach, but it's Mamanav Shach. It's either, the Gemara is thinking now that if it came from before Yom Tov, so then maybe it's kind of its own, right?
Why before, if you're able to be kind of on Yom Tov, why is it any different that it can't be kind of itself, or it can't be its own up in the sky after it already started falling, in between your property and where it is?
Saying, well, what's the din of something that's Hefker?
It has its own, it doesn't have its own tchum?
Well, that's a machlokes. That's a machlokes that we're in the middle of.
So why can't we bring a ride from here that you can't? Why can't we bring a ride from here that it does? It's not kind of its own, because in the middle of the air, it doesn't have its own shvisa. We only wait till it lands for it to have its own shvisa.
Right. No, but even when it lands, it's a hefker water laying in the middle of the ground somewhere. So the Gemara is saying that once the person is kind, then it gets the tchum of the person. Otherwise, it has no tchum. Well, what its status is.
Then why in the sky? Why in the sky do we consider it anything also? Why until it lands? We should just say al stat. We should just say it doesn't have its own shvisa. Why in the sky is it considered to have its own shvisa then?
It's not. That's what the Gemara is saying.
The Gemara. What do you mean? The Gemara had a having meaning.
Well, the Gemara is going.
It should have its own shvisa, being in the sky by itself. Why? What's in the sky different? It's not anywhere right in the sky.
No, but he's meaning it should be kind of it's shvisa in the ocean, let's say, right?
No, it's the Gemara is saying in the clouds. The Gemara is a having meaning it should be kind of. And the only
Right,
reason why it's
because-
not is because it's considered not in existence. But etzem being in the sky, the Gemara would say it has its own shvisa there.
No, we're trying to figure out if it's in its existence. Meaning if it exists, it's kind of shvisa somewhere. The Gemara's assumption now is that since it didn't exist, its shvisa is going to go with whoever acquires it. But if it existed before,
But
if it existed before, a hefker item, if you go with the assumption that something hefker does get a tchum, right? Which is a machlokes, but let's say it does. So this water is going to go with whichever way it goes, right? It gets 2,000 amas. But if you can prove that the rain didn't exist when Yom Tov started, so then we understand that the rainwater only goes with whoever is kained.
But the Gemara
It doesn't have its own independent. Thing.
The only reason why the Gemara did not say that it has its own shvisa in the sky is because the Gemara said it doesn't exist. If it doesn't have existence when it's in the clouds. But if besides for that svar, the Gemara would say it has its own shvisa. We don't consider it the person's shvisa. It's its own shvisa, and it's a problem. So and the Gemara brings a right from there that we would say that vice dice. There's no Indian of tchum above 10 tefachim.
Right.
Let's say on Shabbos it would be falling in from the sky. Why wouldn't that be a right from the fact that in mid-air it's not kind of its own shvisa once it starts to exist?
No, because once it's moving, we're going to see an eye and chapot. You're saying when something's moving, it's not kind of shvisa. The Gemara is going to say that by.
Okay, so that's a different story. Okay, fine.
Okay, so good. No, yeah, enochanami. I didn't chapot which way we're going. Yeah, we're going to see that when something is moving, it can't be kind of shvisa.
How can it be kind of shvisa not at shkia anyway? It would have to be raining at the moment of shkia to be kind of shvisa.
That's right. So that's right. Enochanami. That's another technical.
What kind of experience is that?
Right. Enochanami. That's another technical. Let's see how we go through it on an aleph. Maybe it'll get clear. So anyway, so we say no yesh techumin, right? And the water is absorbed in the clouds, meaning, but it's not yet in existence. So then the Gemara immediately asks, 1 second, if it's not in existence and then it becomes into existence on Yom Tov, then kol shekin davalu noilad. That's something that was created new on Yom Tov. And of course it's also, however, you can't even do anything with it. Right? Meaning, like Rashi says, even to move it in its place, you wouldn't be able. It's muksa. Right? Just like a fruit that falls off a tree on Yom Tov is muksa. Right? So this too is it became what Ella said, right? It became new. It wasn't in existence before Yom Tov. Ella.
So how are you allowed to walk in the rain on Yom Tov for Shabbos?
It's Eina Chanami. It's Eina Mischaven. It's Eina Mischaven. It's Eina Mischaven, right? No, the same reason you can walk in the mud, or you can walk, you're kicking up water. It's Eina Mischaven. You really, Hadarabbi, you're not even interested in. I mean, I would hope.
So if I want to jump through the puddles, it's a problem?
That's what I'm.
Yeah, I mean, if you like to jump through puddles and splash people,
that might not be the only problem.
But what if I want to walk through the water and I want to do it?
Maybe you have an issue.
Didn't we have the same shiloh about carrying it?
What, carrying the water in whatever falls on you? Yeah. So we said that it's Eina Mischaven and you don't want to carry the water in you. But if you do like jumping in puddles, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a tiltal, it's a shinui. But if you like it, so maybe it's not a shinui. I don't know.
So does that mean it's a problem to wear one of those like Bill Blast coats that are supposed to be raincoats, but they really end up as sponges on Shabbos?
Well, if you're not
carrying a lot of water.
Well, right, that's true. If you're not interested
to the plastic
in it,
one where it runs off.
Right, but you're not really interested in it, so it would be again Eina Mischaven. Right? Okay, so anyway, so the Gemara says Elamayim ba'avim meidan naidi. No, the water is in the clouds, right? Meaning it exists in the clouds, but it's always moving, right? That I guess Akiva, this is what would answer your question. So therefore, since it's always moving, it can't get a tchum until it stops. Yeah. So hashda da'as is lachi ukainas nami loylik shulach. And now he's saying that, then you have no question from that the water originates from the ocean. Don't ask the kasha because mayim ukainas nami made 90. The water is also moving in the ocean. The water doesn't sit still in the ocean, so therefore, no water in the ocean, according to this, can get can adopt a tchum. So when's it going to get adopted? When it stops. Yeah, then it gets adopted by the person. The Tanya we learned in the Bryce, and Naharis HaMoshchen, rivers that are flowing, Umayonis HaNoivim, and that's also a mayan is a stream that's flowing. Harein Karagli Kol Adam, that's like the feet of whichever person decides to take it, right? Because they were moving. Since they were moving, right? That's what Rashi said. Since they're moving, they cannot be kind of shvisa, and therefore they only go with the person who eventually picks it up. So Amar Rav Yaakov Bar Idi, Amar Rav Yeshua ben Levi, halacha Rav Yochanan ben Nuri. The halacha is like Rav Yochanan ben Nuri that a person who's sleeping can get a tchum of 2,000 amas, even though he's not consciously adopting that place of his place because he was sleeping. But even so, he gets 2,000 amas from there. So Amar Rav Zera Rav Yaakov Bar Idi. The fair shmialach and mechlal shmialach. Do you know that we pass on like Rabbi Yochanan because you heard somebody tell this to you, or are you inferring it from something? Amalei beferish shmiali. I heard it beferish that halachos is like meikel. What do you mean? What would be the rule that learn out that we pass on like Rabbi Yochanan? The halacha is like the divrei meikel by Eruv. Which is an interesting thing, right? For all of us that are very machman and eruvin, the ma'isa, the halacha is like the meikel and eruvin. So if you have machlokes, if you can use the city eruv, so l'chayra, you should be meikel because halacha is like divrei meikel be'eruv. But
wait, are you joking when you say that?
I am and I'm not. I'm sort of asking.
No, I mean
a question.
what I mean is like that line. He heard that line. It was in reference to this thing about sleeping that it gives you 2,000 hours, but not that in general.
No, it's in general.
It's a general rule.
We say it by Avelis too. There's two places. I mean, there may be more than two, but two that I know of. Halacha Gedivrei Meikel by Avelis and Halacha Gedivrei Meikel by Eruv. Now, of course, the cynic in me is going to say, yeah, that's the halacha until they tell you, yeah, but not in this case, right? That's right. Because we don't always go with the meikel by Avelis. So where do you draw the line? But that's
Avelis is derabanan. Ervin's deraisa.
No, this most tchum is we paskin. Most shai paskin hold the tchum is derabanan. Well, that's going to be the whole Amud now. Now we're going to go back and forth with this. So now, bottom line is we have two reasons to paskin like Rav Yochanan Nuri. One, that he heard that the halacha is like him, and two, that the rule is you go with the meikel by Eruv.
So are we done with rain and snow? Because you said
yeah. So
because it sounds like I don't know if is it true that rain just stays in clouds? Because if it's not true, if it is nilid, then it should be muksa. Right?
Okay, so very good. So in America, it's accepted that snow is muksa, right? So first of all, everybody else other than Rav Moshe Feinstein, the reason why that became popular is because one of the English Hilchos Shabbos Svarim quoted Rav Moshe Feinstein by saying that it's muksa. Rabbi Yashiv, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. No, Rav Shlomo Zalman also held it was muksa. So that's another thing. Shmir Shabbos Kol Chassid was about Rabbi Yashiv, and others say that it's not muksa. That rain is not muksa, right? Because it was not in existence or whatever it is. But one thing is for sure. Another thing, snow that fell before Shabbos is certainly not muksa, according to everybody. Right? The only tzad that to be machmer is if it's rained on Shabbos. But that's we come out. Lamaisa, most places can come out that rainwater is not muksa. So if you needed rainwater and it rained into a bucket on Shabbos, then you are okay with using that rainwater.
So right? Rain, snow, and it's because of this Gemara that it's saying that it's really in the clouds but just moving?
Yes. It's really in the clouds and it's not developed new.
Doesn't snow get a whole 3/4 seif in the Shulchan Aruch?
Yeah, but it's not really discussing. It's not really discussing there. It's whether it's muksa, alts. What are you going to do with it? You're going to make snowball, whatever. Not off the nylon. I don't remember.
But changing from a liquid form to a solid form, is that nylon in itself?
No, see, that's that you're not allowed to do that. Else you shouldn't do that. That's a different issue. Whether that's even taking ice, making ice on Shabbos. You're talking about,
right? Yeah.
So That's a machlokes whether that's even considered a issue. But if it happened by itself, that's an issue for you to do it. If it happened by itself, it's not also ba'ano.
Right.
I mean,
it certainly wouldn't be
think you're in a hotel and an ice maker makes ice, or the ice machine in your freezer makes ice. That ice is mutter. It's only you shouldn't make. Those that are machmer hold that you shouldn't go make the ice. But
you
if it
can
gets
leave
made
your
by
ice
itself,
machine on before Shabbos, though.
you could leave your ice machine on before Shabbos, sure. But the problem is you pull out the ice, it may make more ice. That's a different issue. The more interesting thing is, let's say you have a dehumidifier, or your air conditioner is dripping water. Now, what's the deal with that? Because that water was not in existence. You can't say that water is in the air conditioner. No, it's taking the humidity or the condensation and it's making it into liquid, and then it's dripping. That already more people say.
No?
What?
Going leibud. It's getting wasted. It's going leibud.
Yes, so, but still noilad.
Moilid?
Noilad. It's created. It's something new that wasn't there before Shabbos.
So it's muktzah, but it's dropped on the floor. I'm not using it.
And a chanami, but no, but
Yeah,
can you?
but
What if you put a
different
bucket
than
under it?
rainwater? Why is it different than
But what if
rainwater
you
on
put a
Shabbos
bucket
afternoon?
under it?
But if you
No.
have it set up, like I thought about it, I could set it up, water my plants. Now that I have all of the piping coming together, it's a decent amount of water.
But you can do that. Why not?
No, but if it's
Hey,
no,
that's
I'm allowed
moilid.
to do that on
So
Shabbos.
what? But you can't. It creates by itself. It's just muksa parrots. If you're not touching it, it's no problem. We're talking about, like, let's say you put, somebody's air conditioner is dripping and you put a bucket under it. Can you now go take the bucket?
Why is that different than rainwater?
No. Rainwater, we're saying, is created from before Shabbos. It's in creation before Shabbos.
Even though it's raining Shabbos afternoon, 10 minutes before
Yes.
Skiya, it's created before
Yes.
Shabbos?
Yes.
That's what we
The
just
rain is-
said.
Yes, that's what we're saying. That's what's coming out.
Is
What's
this
the
a
problem?
Is this a
running
Moilad,
before
Shiloh, or
Shabbos.
moilid?
Noilad.
Oh.
This air conditioner you're running before Shabbos.
No, but the liquid that is being pulled out of the air, and now it's a new liquid. If the air is going in, however it goes into the air conditioner, now you're making it something that clearly was not there from before Shabbos.
No, it was
But
in the
either way,
air. It was in the air before Shabbos, just like the
not-
rainwater
no,
was.
it's not
It doesn't
moist.
have
No,
existed.
it's not. There's no rain there. What we're saying here is that the rainwater is in the cloud.
There's not a cloud outside your air conditioner.
Right.
Well,
No.
technically,
But
in
the air conditioner conditions the air and makes the water and cold air inside.
Right,
But
so
it's
that
totally-
water was not in existence before Shabbos. You are creating new water.
Technically, it was.
I guess theoretically, but
It's
isn't
made
there?
that 90 so fast that it's not in existence.
Yeah, but if your air conditioner wasn't on, it would be air. It wouldn't be water.
It's still hydrogen and oxygen particles.
Isn't there a thing that they could do is they could fly a plane over a cloud and drop something into the cloud to make it rain? Right? They could do that. So that means that the rain l'chayra
It's a version of salt, I believe.
Doesn't that mean that the rain is in existence? Isn't that a raya? L'chayra? Anyways,
the clouds are tiny water droplets. That's what they are.
right, correct. Right.
If you go through a cloud, you get wet.
Yeah.
So what was the answer to the dehumidifier? What the Shiloh is also if you're allowed to move it?
Yeah, because it's muksa. So the pashas is it's muksa, but the thing is like this: you get bailed out because it's a graf sharei. It's going to spill all over your house, right? So then you're allowed to. If it's not going to spill all over your house, then you shouldn't, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, thank you for reminding me to discuss the rain issue. So now we go.
Are you
What?
meikel and graf? Are you meikel and graf shalrei in general?
No, why?
It's water. It's not a graf shalrei.
No, but if it's going to spill all over your carpet and it's going
It'll
to...
get wet. It doesn't even smell on top.
Let me tell you, I'm not making this chiddush up by myself. Trust me, I don't make up anything myself. I am not smart enough to make anything up myself. But that's what the poskim say. I can't say everybody agrees to it, but if it's going to destroy your house and it's really bothering you that it's there, I believe that I'll try and find the source for who says that. But yeah.
But you let your kids throw snowballs from snow that fell on Shabbos?
Every time it snows before Shabbos, I tell my kids, why don't you line up the snowballs and throw them, and everybody thinks you're machal Shabbos, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. The only issue is making the snowball on Shabbos, but if you made them before Shabbos, what's the problem?
You can't make the
They could do that while wearing tefillin also.
That's right. And using the Eruv.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. V'tarti lamali. Fine. So v'tarti lamali. Why do you need two reasons? Meaning, why do you have to say halachas like Rav Yochanan Nuri and say that the halachas like the meikel by Eruv? Rav Zera tzrich. So we're gonna have a whole Amud of this question. Now, why he needed to say it twice? Some Rav Zera tzrichi, we need it. If you just say halacha is like Rav Yochanan Nuri, have a mina bein lekula bein lechumra. That we go with Rav Yochanan Nuri, whether it's the kula, right, which we said, which means that the person sleeping gets his tchum, or whether it's a chumra, right, which means that the something that's hefker, right, something that's hefker, he wouldn't allow, right. No, meaning, I'm sorry, the chumra is that it only gets to go wherever the owner goes. It can't go wherever it is. So that's what we're saying. Allah is like the meikel, that we only go like Rav Yochanan ben Nuri lekula, not lechumra. Then halacha Rav Yochanan ben Nuri lam good. So then just say that Allah is like the meikel by Eruv. Why do you need to say that Allah is like Rav Yochanan ben Nuri? It's no, you need it. That's only where it's. When do we say that we go lekula? That's a yachid against a yachid. It's having a machlokes two. How do you call it? Das Yachid. How do you say it? Single opinion? No, there's a word. Okay, whatever. But a Rabbim Makam Rabim, or a bunch of Rabbanim against a bunch of Rabbanim. Have a Yachid Makam Rabim aim alay, but if it's a Yachid against the Rabbim, so I would say maybe you would not paskin like that lekula. So therefore, we're saying that no, even if it's a Yachid with a Rabbim, we're going to be meikel.
Was he put in chayrim for saying that, like Rebbe Elazar?
No, why?
Because Yachid b'makom Rabim mechatzesi. How do you pass in Yachid? I'm saying, how is he kamash maloning that we're saying that Yachid b'makom Rabim we pass like the Yachid?
Because we have the rule of that halacha is like the meikel by Eruv.
When do we pass the Yachid b'makom Rabim halacha Yachid?
Right here, at least we're going to try. Now the Gemara is going to bomb him. The Gemara is going to bomb.
I'm just saying that's how do you go against that principle? Even if you want to be meikel, I understand you want to be meikel, but Yachid b'makom Rabim you can't.
No, but that's what we're saying. That if you can make up any principles that you want, right?
But the principle of Yachid b'makom Rabim is a principle that people were put into cherem for. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I guess if they say in specific areas that you might be able to do it, right?
So I'm saying he's no better than Rebbe Elazar.
Could be. Yeah, maybe. So let's see. The Gemara is going to ask. Now we're going to be on for the rest of the Amud with this. Amalei Rav Abaye Michti Eruvin derabanan. Eruvin is the Rabbanon. Mali Yochid b'makam Yochid, Mali Yochid b'makam Rabim. What's the difference, right? Meaning we always say in the Rabbanon that we go with the meikel, right? It's a derabanan. Why do you need a special din by Eruv? And anytime we have a derabanan, suffik derabanan is lekula. Yeah? Which is really, yeah. Okay, so let's see. So Amalach Rapapa, the Rapapa said the derabanan loishanin ben yachid makim yachid liyachid makim ram. Do we not differentiate by derabanan whether it has to do with a yachid against the rabbim or a yachid against a yachid? Right? V'hatanan Rabbi Eliezer Aimer, Rabbi Lazar Aimer, Kol Isha Shavru Leah Shalosh Shainas Dayashad. Right? This is Gemara in Nida, where a woman who goes 3 months without getting a period, right? So, and then all of a sudden she sees. So, normally the rule is that if she goes 3 months without seeing, then she has a chazaka that she no longer sees. So now when she does get it, how far back do we kick back anything that she touches is tummy? So really it should be 24 hours. So Rabbi Lazar said, any Isha that passes 3 months, daya shaita, and she's only from whatever time she sees, that's when anything's going to come tummy. We don't kick it back retroactive 24 hours. The Tanya Maisa of us, the Rebbe Rebbe Lazar, there was a Maisa that Rebbe did like Rebbe Lazar, La'achash and Nizkar, and when he remembered, Omar Kedai Rebbe Lazar, Lismech Lebashas Atchak. And after he remembered that, 1 second, I just passed it like a yochid with the neged the rabbim, then he said, Kedai Rebbe Lazar to be Samichan and Bashas Atchak. So you see clearly that it's not pashut that we go by a derabanan, right? The other rabbi, we don't necessarily go with the rabbanan lekula and with the yochid. So the Gemara says, "My lachash and iskar." What does it mean? If we remember that the halacha is not like Rebbe Lazar, that the halacha is like the Rabbanon, that anything she touches for 24 hours is an issue, so then Heichi Yavakav say, right? B'shas atchak, I'm sorry, Heichi Yavakav say, how did he do like him? B'shas atchak. If you don't paskin like him, you don't paskin like him. Ella, like Rebbe Lazar, like Rabbanon. Must be that we never learned whether halacha is not like Rebbe Lazar or not like Rabbanon. La'achar shenizkar the lav yachid, when he remembered that it's not a yachid that poligala, ela rabim poligala, that's a rabim amar kedai Rebbe Lazar lismech la b'shas atchak, that it's kedai to be saimich on him. Whatever it is, you see that even by derabanans we do make a difference between whether it's a yachid with a rabim or a rabim negative rabim. So therefore, that's one kasha. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Shashi l'Rava. What? Somebody say something?
Isn't the original machlokes Dayashaita, or you go back, Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai, isn't that about whether it is a suffix deraisa?
Yeah, but this is a little different case, because this is where she's misalekes damim, because she went 3 months. That's right. This is a different case. That's stam.
Wait,
she wasn't a misalekes damim.
The suffix is if she saw 24 hours ago and she didn't realize.
Yeah.
So why should this be the Rabban and that a deraisa? Just because she's misalekes chazaka?
I guess. But I'm not sure. Maybe also the whole concept of kicking it back to the mafreya is the Rabbanon. It's also what I thought.
Is this a riot to Trumas Hadeshin's chazaka?
Why?
The negative chazaka.
I don't know if is that called a negative chazaka?
Technically it is.
I hear. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's see weiter. So then, Amar Rabbi Shashi l'Rava v'Ami l'Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak l'Rava over the Rabbanon l'Shani ben Yachid b'Makom Yachid ben Yachid l'Makom Rabim. Do we not differentiate by the Rabbanon between a Yachid arguing with a Rabim or not? Vatanya Shmur Kroiva Neheges Shiva Shloishim. So let's just do a little bit of hakdama. Normally, when somebody loses a relative, they find out immediately, right? So then they have Shiva Shloishim. What happens if somebody did not find out right away? He didn't. It's not that would be. I'm sorry. That would be called a shmua kroiva. If you find out right away, that's you heard it right away. Kroiva is not going. Doesn't mean relative. I mean, it means relative also, but it means you heard about it close to the death, right? Shmua rechaika means you heard about it long after the shloshim. Let's say, right? So the question is, what does the person have to do when he hears about the bad news? Rechaika, far away from the actual patira, right? So that's a machlokes. Right, Vatanya Shmua Kroiva Neheges Shiva Shloishim. A Shmua Kroiva, which is the standard thing that normally happens, you have Shiva and Shloishim. Rechaika, if it's far away, Ein Neheges Eliyam Echad. Then they only sit Shiva for 1 day, and even that 1 day, by the way, it's Mixas Ayam Kakula. So they just sit for a minute, and that's it. Ve'ezi Kroiva, Ve'ezi Rechaika. What's considered Kroiva? What's called Rechaika? Besides Shloishim, Kroiva. Within 30 days, it's Kroiva. Meaning, so if somebody finds out within 30 days that a close relative was nifter, then they have to sit shiva, and then they have shloishim from then, right? La'achar shloishim is considered rechaika. That's Rebbe Kiva also. Right? We're naig shiva and shloishim for not to make a difference if it's within 30 days or after 30 days. Yeah. This is what they do, by the way, for people that cannot handle Shiva, for elderly people. What they do is they wait till after Shloishim. Then if they even bother to tell them, but if they choose to tell them, they wait till after Shloishim. They tear Kriya, they sit down, they say Amakum, and they get up. That's basically what goes on. But anyways, so we have this machlokes. Whenever you find a yachid is meikel and the rabim is machmir, halacha goes to the machmirim, hamachmirim amerubim, right? With the machmirim who are the majority. Chutz mizu, except for here, shav b'shur Rebbe Kiva meikel v'chama machmirim. Even though Rebbe Kiva is the meikel, chama machmir, halacha g'divrei Rebbe Kiva, like we just said, halacha is like Rebbe Kiva that they only have to sit shiva for a day. The Savar lo k'Shmuel, the Amar Shmuel lo divrei meikel ba'avel, and he holds like Shmuel, like we said before, that the halacha is like the divrei meikel ba'avel. Right, so the Gemara says, "Ba'avelus huda kilu barabanan." That's only by avelus we will make it with a yachid berama. Ba'ama afilu b'derabanan. Shani bein yachid b'makom yachid bein yachid b'makom rama. We're going to differentiate between a yachid b'makom rama and a yachid not b'makom rama. So you see clearly another proof that even by derabanans we do care about whether the machlokes is a yachid and a rama. Okay, so that's then. Those are the two kashas on Rava that we do still care about yachid and rama. Okay, it seems like that's the Gemara slugs up Rava. That's what it seems, right? Okay, so now the Gemara goes back. Now we're on Talmud Beis. The Gemara goes back and says, right? Why do we need to say? Now we're going back to try and answer. Why do we need to say twice? Halacha is like a Nuri, and the halacha is that the halacha is like the meikel. I would think that the halacha is like the meikel, that's only by eruvei chatzeiros. By eruvei techumin, emaloi. By eruv tchum, right? Maybe for whatever reason it's different. So tzricha. Then therefore it needs to tell you that no, it's no different. Not by eruvei chatzeiros and not by eruvei techumin. When we not tamer the shani lambein eruvei chatzeiros and eruvei techumin, why would you think that we should differentiate between eruvei chatzeiros and eruv techumin? The Tan Amar Rabbi Yehuda b'med v'amar by eruvei techumin. When do we say this? That's by eruv techumin. By eruv chatzeiros, ma'arim bein ladas, bein shaloi ladas. By eruv chatzeiros, when ma'arim whether he knew about it, whether he didn't know about it, like we've been saying in the mission. Why? Shezachin la'adam shaloi b'fanav. By eruvei chatzeiros, a guy is not going to lose anything by including a guy in the eruvei chatzeiros, right? When you make it the eruv chatzeiros, meaning when you got to give the chalas to everybody, we do this always. Let's say a guy doesn't use the eruv here, right? And he's in an apartment building. So you want to make an eruv in the apartment building. Do you have to go knock on each person's door and say that, do you want to be in the eruv, do you not? No, what you do is you have two guys. One guy takes the challah for everybody, and he represents everybody. Oh, how can you do that? Maybe he can't do it, right? Maybe he can't do it. Maybe he doesn't want to do it. The answer is no.
How come I remember your father wanting us to Nielsen to knock on all the doors?
I have no idea. He wanted you to do that?
I've talked to Kaplan. Kaplan dealt with him. I think so. Kaplan knocked on my door.
Maybe he needed somebody else to be part of it. You could do it as zachin. There's nothing wrong. Nobody's losing anything. But you can't do it for eruv tchum. Because how do you go make an eruv tchum for somebody? He says, 1 second, I didn't want to go that way. I wanted to go the other way. I don't want to daven that shul. I daven in the other shul. I don't hold to that rabbi. I go hold to the other rabbi. Yeah, or like the Gemara says before, when the rabbi's coming, you want to run the other way, right? Anyway, so but you can't be machayev somebody something only b'fanav. So that's what we would think. Maybe eruvei chatzeiros is different than eruv tchum. Rav Ashi is a different teretz. Right, that's only with the leftovers of the eruv. Aval betchilas eruv emaloi, but betchilas eruv, right? That we're not meikel. Meaning shiurei eruv means that once you have the eruv and then the eruv the food start getting eaten. As long as there's a little bit of eruv left, then you'll be more meikel. But betchilas eruv, in order to establish an eruv, then you have to be machmer. So emaloi. So that's what we're saying. No, halacha is like him that you would be meikel all the way around, like Rav Yochanan ben Nuri. So Gemara says, we not tamer the shani ben shiurei eruv l'tchilas eruv. How do we know that we differentiate between the leftovers from an eruv and the beginning of an eruv? The Tanan Amar Rav Yosef Emed v'Amurim betchilas eruv. We're talking about tchilas eruv, but shiurei eruv afilu kol shehu. But if it's leftovers eruv, then all you need is a little bit of food, and that's it. So then, if that's the case, so why do you need a lot of food? We don't want the tinoikus to forget that there's such a thing as making an eruv and you need a minimum amount of food. So therefore, that's why they require eruvei chatzeiros to have a certain amount of food. But really, as long as there's something, any small amount of food, then that's enough. Yeah, fine. That's the end of that sugya. Now we start with a whole sugya about who we paskin like, which tanoim we paskin like that there are
who in this town or wherever town knows how you make an Eruv chatzeiros? Who the hell knows that?
Correct. That's yes. Thank you for being ma'ir of that, saying that the whole thing was shaloi tishtakach tyrus eruv min hatinoikus. Well, they lost that war, right? It's totally forgotten, right? We're gonna have it a little more later too. Yeah, it seems like there were a few things by Hilchos Eruvin that they lost. You know, they lost. It's just right. That nobody knows. Nobody knows anything about the eruvei chatzeiros and a chanami. Okay, so Rabbi
Wait, so
Yaakov,
really the Atzem Eruv chatzeiros only doesn't even need like a chatzeiros? What does that mean?
correct? Yeah, meikel adin. Yes.
And what is the minimum?
So the max. Well, it's supposed to be a groigris, but we say 18 groigris for everybody. That's the maximum you would need for even 1 million people. So we do use this a little bit. Right. Well, we'll get to that later on. The later program is going to discuss that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. It's a little complicated. Rashi tells us exactly what this Gemara means, but that's the basic. That's basically how you learn the Gemara. Fine. Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Zrika amru halacha Rabbi Kiva mechavera. Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Zrika said that the halacha is always like Rabbi Kiva from when he's having a machlokes with others. Meaning when there's one other, when it's Rabbi Kiva neged one other Tana, we paskin like Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Yossi mechaveirav, and we paskin like Rabbi Yossi even when there is a rabbin. Rebbe mechaveiroi, and it's Rebbe, we always paskin like Rebbe when it's Rebbe against one. The meikel, what's the halacha? Why? What are you trying to teach us with this? Ravasi Amar halacha.
Can I ask you? The words look the same. How do you read that differently? Mechaveiroi, mechaveirav.
What? They're spelled differently.
The
first and the last.
The first and the last is
the yud is in a different spot.
In the Rabbi Yossi, it's chaveirav. It's plural.
Oh,
that's why he knows what he's talking about.
Right?
Okay.
That's good. No, you never know. You can have an old Gemara over there, and it has a different thing.
No, the yud. Yeah, I didn't know. The yud is one letter over. I didn't got it.
That's good. You caught that. It's very good.
Okay.
Very
I just
good.
want to know how you.
Okay, so what's the halacha? What's it nageya? Ravasi Amar halacha. We paskin this way. You go with these rules. Reb Chia bar Abba Amar matin doesn't mean you go with it. You lean towards it. We use it as like as I don't want to say a crutch, but meaning we lean more towards Rabbi Kiva when it's chaveiroi and Rabbi Yossi from his chaveiroi and Rabbi Chaveiroi. Rabbi Yossi b'chanina Amar nirin. It doesn't mean matin. It means nirin. It appears. Right. I'm not sure what the difference between matin and nirin is. Right.
Lahavdil elef of dollars with the political the things. There's lean and there's likely. We're not sure.
Is that so? Is that so?
What did he say?
That it politically with polling, right? That's very negative today. Lahavdil elef of dollars.
Right.
You have the pollsters say that state X is in the bag for one candidate. State Y is likely for the candidate, and state Z is lean towards the candidate.
Oh, you're saying lean? You mean likely and lean? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I hear that. Okay, so mutton is more. L'chayra mutton is stronger though, right? Meaning mutton means that's really the way it should go. Rabbi Chanina's a nirin means it seems like it, but it's not necessarily as strong. I think so. Kalashan Azeh, Amar Rav Yaakov Baridi, Amar Rav Yochanan, Ramei of Rabbi Yehuda, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. When it's Ramei and Rabbi Yehuda, halacha like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, halacha Rabbi Yossi. Then Bein Tzarech Loimer that Ramei of Rabbi Yossi, halacha Rabbi Yossi. Right? Because Hashta b'makam Rabbi Yehuda lessa b'makam Rabbi Yossi mibai. Right? If Ramei is nothing to when he's arguing with Rabbi Yehuda, then Avad is not Rabbi Yossi because Rabbi Yossi is bigger than bigger. The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi when it's by Rabbi Yehuda, right? Okay, you just have to fit in the puzzle. Amar Rav Asi, Afani Laimid. I also learned Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Yossi. Amar Rav Abba, Amar Rav Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. When it's Rabbi Yehuda against Rabbi Shimon, halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. Hash Rabbi Yehuda lessa, but Rabbi Yossi mibai. If Rabbi Shimon is not if even Reb Yehuda is better than Reb Shimon, so Avada Reb Yossi, who's better, is going to be better than Reb Shimon. Okay.
How do you learn this? What's your pshat that the Gemara used the term lessa instead of halachika?
Yeah, I just thought that his opinion doesn't we don't consider his, what?
Remeir that we call a Tana Elaki lessa.
So I don't even think it means that his opinion is nothing, meaning when we compare his opinion to the other, to Rabbi Yossi.
Okay, so say halachika. Always halachika, right? I don't know.
Okay, maybe. I hear. Okay, weiter. Rameir Reb Shimon Mai. What about Rameir to Reb Shimon? That we don't have that combination. So Teku. That will bring Eliyahu Hanavi involved in that one. Yeah? Okay. Amar Mashashi, Lesnu Lahani Kloli. These rules are out. Mashashi says, no, we don't have these rules. We know Leila Reb Shashi Aha. How do we know? How does Reb Mashashi know that we don't have these rules? If it's because we learned it in the Mishnah of Shimon Aimer, right? We had this yesterday. That we said, what's the case? Similar to if you have 3 chatzeiros, one open to the other one, and they're open to the Shazarabim. If the 2 outer ones make an Eruv with the middle, this one is mutter with that one, and they're mutter with her. Ima is referring to the middle one. And the 2 outer ones are also with each other. Right? Again, we said that case using the mashal of my house, my mother's house, and the one in between. Right? So if we both make Eruvin with the one in between, so we can both carry to the one in between, but I can't carry to my mother, she can carry to me. Right? Halacha is like Reb Shimon. And who disagrees with Reb Shimon? It doesn't seem anybody disagrees. Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. Didn't we just got finished saying that the Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon is like Rabbi Yehuda? No, less new. So you see that we don't hold to this rule that we always paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, right? Because we said here that Allah was like Rabbi Shimon. Yeah.
I just want to go on record. You don't have to answer me. I don't want to waste time. But I've never understood this, and I still don't understand it. Look at each sugya, what a person says. How could you make a rule that he's better? Look at what he said in the sugya.
100%. Yeah, I hear. Right? Yeah, take each sugya away and see what others. 100%. Yes.
So Yaakov, didn't we say earlier that Rabbi Yossi was the what was it, Yakar? He was
everything right. Everything he said was everything.
So be his side, he had a clear psak of things. I mean, that's kind of what the Gemara is saying here, that we always pass like Rabbi Yossi.
Right.
You can't make a rule. You can't make a rule that he's always right.
I'm not the one making rules. There's other Amoraim that are making these rules. I'm not.
What do you mean other Amoraim?
The Amoraim right here. What do you mean?
Oh, you said not you, but other Amoraim other than you. I just was wondering.
Well, there's some Amoraim that are chaylik. There are some Amoraim that are chaylik in it. And Mishash is chaylik on them. So some Amoraim say you couldn't make a rule.
No, I'm not one thing. What's the rule, right? What's the rule?
I'm saying that obviously these Amoraim understood the Tanaim enough to understand which one we should go busser, and other Amoraim disagree on that. Meaning they obviously, we can't speak for why Amoraim saw that in them, but Amoraim have much more of a makom to see why we should pass like one over the other. We're much more lower on the level to understand that, but the Amoraim obviously saw a makom to do that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. But at the Svara, though, the Svara, yeah, I hear. I hear both of them. Anyways,
I'm saying even without that, aren't there clauses we say when it comes to like Stam Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi, whatever it is, like, and we even without these Amoraim, don't we say that?
Yeah, but that's different. I think that the pshat with that is that we know that the way Rabbeinu HaKadosh set up the Mishnayos was that if he made a Stam Mishnah, that's the halacha.
So who made the on him?
No, because he knew that was the decision that was made.
Oh, that was already the decision.
I think, I'm not sure. But look at the teretz. The teretz is on my kusha. What's the kasha? Dilma, right? Right? Meaning where it says the halacha is like whichever, Rab Shimon in this case, then we go with Rab Shimon. If not, then the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, meaning there's no set rule. Meaning there is a rule, but we can exclude the rule. Right? That's essentially what the Gemara is saying. Right? Okay, so that's one case. Elamahad, the Tanan, Irshal Yachid. If you have a city of a Yachid, Rabban, this is also a case where another thing that was forgotten. You have a Irshal Yachid, but Nasas Sharabim becomes a public city, right? So Rashi says didn't have Shishim Riboy, but whatever it is, it was a private city that became a public city. Ma'arvin is Kula, you can make an Eruv for the whole, you can make an Eruv in the whole city. Shal Rabin v'Nasas Shayach, but if it's a public city that became private, Ein Ma'arvin is Kula, you're not allowed to make an Eruv in the whole thing. Now, what this is basically talking about is, believe it or not, way back when you had a city Eruv, you were not allowed to put the entire city in the Eruv. You needed to leave out some of the city so that everybody would know that there's such a concept of city, of an Eruv. And if you wouldn't leave something out of the Eruv, nobody would know what the city. Now, why it goes now that we don't do this, I have no idea, right? But that's what it is, yeah. So we're saying that if it was a private city,
because now not everyone can agree on the Eruv.
Even so, I mean, I guess the truth is we have it. We have it by us. The boardwalk's not in the Eruv. Right? Okay, well, whatever it is, the Gemara is saying that if it's a private city, it becomes a public city, right? So then Ma'arav is Kula. Shal Rabim and Asa Shal Yochid, if it's a Rabim and then a Yochid, then Ein Ma'arav is Kula, then you can't do it, meaning it retains its original status. Elim Ken Asa Isa Chutzala. Elim Ken Isa Chutzala. Ki Ir Chadash Shabi Yehuda, Sheyesh B'Chamishim Diurin. Unless you make outside of the city a new city that has 50 diurim. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, that's what Rabbi Yehuda says. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, no, you don't need that much. You say, shalosh chatzeiros or shnei batim. If you have 3 chatzeiros, right, meaning all you have to do is, you only have, the first sheet that says you exclude 50 people. Here it's 3 chatzeiros with 2 houses in it. That's enough to keep out of the Eruv. Omer Rav Chaim Bar Guri, Omer Rav, halacha Rabbi Shimon. Halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. Uman Palagala, who disagrees with Rabbi Shimon? Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, Allah, Rabbi Yehuda. But Rabbi Shashi is saying, what do you mean? You said that Allah is always like Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rabbi Shimon. Yet here the Gemara is passing like Rabbi Shimon. So the Gemara answers again. My kushya dilma hacha nami itmar itmar. What's the question? Maybe here, where you learn the halachas like Rabbi Shimon. So of course we're not going to disagree with that. Where the halachas like Rabbi Yehuda, then we are. But at the default, there's halachas like Rabbi Yehuda. All right, Elo. It's already late. What time are we doing a daf tomorrow? Anybody have any time? Nobody's making early, right?
No.
What time
There's no early. There is no early.
Right, so Shki is 6:45, right? Shki is 6:45. Anybody want to say any particular time?
Any time stinks.
We know that. We know
Wow. Wow.
No,
Anytime stinks for learning.
it's a hard
Anytime
day.
stinks for learning.
I was going to ask, is the reason Aaron Kaplan's not on tonight because he already made Shabbos?
Could be. Very good.
Can you why not leave the Zoom on and they'll be like, there won't be no line.
Yeah, we already discussed that we should leave the Zoom on for Simon on Motzei Shabbos. What do you call it? I don't know. So I guess 5:45. Is that too late? Too early?
5:30 is better.
5:30 is too early, I think. Too early.
5:37.
Oh, Shkia, I'm sorry. Shkia is at 47. That means I only got a down mincha 6:30. Okay, I think we should do 5:45. I think 5:45.
5:45.
5:45. Okay, but I
Thank
don't
you.
want to fall behind. Okay, we'll stop here because it's late. But okay, we'll have to do a lot tomorrow.
And what time is Motzi?
I thought
We
they
do
always
that
decided
tomorrow.
Motzi's always at
9
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
What about
good
when
to go.
Shabbos
Decide
is
that
very
tomorrow.
early? Are we going to still do 9 o'clock?
No, maybe we'll change it once
That's
after
a little ridiculous.
If you
o'clock?
move it,
Why do we have to change it if
10,
Shabbos ends
I
early?
would vote for
It's
that.
ridiculous.
No, we're gonna have
Where
to. Everyone
exactly
has
are you
Avos
going
Abanim.
Saturday night? There's no
Why
place
do we
to
have
go.
to change it from 9 o'clock? I don't understand.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep. Everyone's gonna go to Avos Abanim first.
There's not
Listen,
any
listen,
other-
listen. Hello.
Liner.
You think there's
No,
going to be an
I need my toys, Paris. I need my presents.
There's no other Savannah. There's going to be no more bowling alleys. There's going to be only pizza shops. If you can make opinion there.
I would vote for 10, by the way, if anyone cares. You
No
don't
one
have to.
cares.
Maybe.
No, nobody cares.
Peretz, are you serious, Peretz? Or are you joking?
I'd be shocked if I have Avos Sabanim.
Why? What's the difference of davening? I don't understand.
New York City is starting to shut down all the schools because this is how they're going to get people to test themselves.
Parents, does that mean you?
Now all the front people are going to run and test themselves, right?
Parents, does that mean you're allowed to learn with your kids at home?
That's not
You
a
know,
great
maybe
argument.
we can have drive.
Parrots at least.
I'm going to only learn at home with
my.
my kid if I get a present at the end of the night.
So make an Amazon wish list.
All right, whatever. Either way, it's not a game Motzei Shabbos the next 2 weeks because next week Bez Hashem is Sukkos, and the next week after that is Sukkos. But I guess Motzei Yom Tif will be the issue. Whatever. Anyway,
What about Eruv Yom Kippur?
Eruv Yom Kippur, we'll have to discuss on Motzei Shabbos. I imagine it's a Sunday. We should do it earlier.
And Motzei Yom Kippur.
Motzei Yom Kippur.
Rabbi Stein, is there a Shabbos day share by you?
I don't see why not.
5 o'clock or earlier?
No, 5 o'clock.
All right. I'll have to talk to my doctor and see if I can go anyway.
What?
You can't come, okay?
Find out from the doctor, yeah.
Yeah, don't infect Yaakov. We need him to daven Yom Kippur.
Parrots, we're working on Shachris for Shabbos.
No, I'm in.
I know. So we're just waiting to hear from a Balkaira.
Now that we got the Sefer Torah, it's starting.
Where's little Liner?
He has a bar mitzvah. He has a bar mitzvah this week, and it's a hard parsha.
I knew this was going to happen.
But right after the shot, he's doing.
Now I got to show up for Shachris early to make Cohen.
No, we ain't
early. Really? 9:45.
Yaakov, if I would have known 10 years ago that all it would take to get you to start a show is to get a Sefer Torah, how about?
No.
Not a Stam Sefer Torah.
You had to do Corona in order to do it.
He would have made that happen too.
It's not Stam Sefer Torah.
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Is there a Yom Kippur at this minyan happening as well?
No. As far as right now, no. Right now, no. Hopefully it'll stay like that.
I was looking for a Baal Musaf.
Zero reason.
Wow.
You don't have a Baal Musaf?
I don't know. I don't think Ozzy has a Baal Musaf yet.
What happened to the guy from Rosh Hashanah?
I don't know. I just got contacted out.